Hello, YouTube. This is Kevin with the Weird Homes Tour. We're back at you again with another weekly home tour of unique, creative, interesting homes. If you are new to our tour, uh, we like to go and we like to discover interesting homes and their interesting homeowners. And if you want to see more homes just like this, we encourage you to do all that fun YouTube stuff. Subscribe to the Weird Homes Tour YouTube channel. Drop us a like. Hit us up with a comment. Let us know what you think. We would really appreciate that. So this week is super excited. Uh, we usually do these physical tours, and we reached out to this next homeowner to do a tour in San Francisco because her and her home is so cool. We found an article about Judi Henderson as the Mannequin Queen, and her story is so fun. And we, doing the tours for the past 8 years, we'll see homes with a couple mannequins, and they're always real fun. They'll decorate them for the holidays and that sort of thing. But we're going to talk to Judi about her love for mannequins, her home that has mannequins for decorations, and this whole idea of using mannequins for decorations, how they can be more than just kind of putting on a shirt and all that fun stuff, and how they can be like a really kind of fun and interesting part of your home. So I am going to bring Judi up right now. Judi, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing well.
Hi,
I'm
how are
doing
you?
well. Uh, Thank you so much for being with us. We're so super interested to kind of see your home and see everything that you've done with mannequins. And so, I guess my first question for you is like, what set you on this path of becoming the mannequin queen? Like, how did you fall in love with mannequins?
Okay. Well, originally I just had a mannequin rental business that I just kind of stumbled into. And then I realized that many times retail stores were just throwing mannequins in the trash when they would close or remodel. And I thought mannequins have so many other usages besides just being in the store window displaying clothes. I personally wanted a mannequin to put in my backyard as a mosaic art project. I knew that there were other people like me. So I went from just renting mannequins to people to acquiring more mannequins from retail stores when they would close. And then I resell those mannequins to other people.
Very cool, very cool. So you have a business reselling mannequins. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, with Mannequin Madness, we sell a range of mannequins. When we say mannequins, that's everything from mannequin hands, legs, any kind of a body part that's related to a human. We sell that. So what happens? Stores remodel, close. We pick up their mannequins for free, so they no longer go into the landfill, what they would normally would go. And mannequins are made out of materials that don't biodegrade, so they really should not be gone in the landfill anyway. But there's so many creative ways that people, private individuals, artists, community groups, museums, that they need a mannequin at a discount price to really be able to do something else fun with it. So we like to say we extend the use of mannequins beyond their initial purpose.
Yeah, I love that concept so much. These department stores aren't paying to get rid of mannequins that they would have to pay to throw into the landfill.
Right.
Uh, these other smaller retailers are getting mannequins that they normally couldn't afford. Plus, all of these, we're saving all these landfills from filling up with
Right.
something that we could
I really
reuse.
consider it a
I love
win-win.
the
We're
concept.
taking mannequins out of the landfill. We're allowing people to have a creative use for them. And don't we need more creativity right now? We find that DIY projects have really gone on an upswing with this pandemic because people want something fun to do. They like making something with their hands. And there's always been a fascination with the human body.
Yeah, love it. And so, why don't you get started and kind of show us your home, show us your mannequins, and let's talk about mannequin decoration, all that fun stuff.
Now, while my mannequin warehouse is wall to wall mannequins, my home is not. A lot of people think I'm going to be living with mannequins at home. I have them, but I have the very edited version. So let's start with reading me here. You may see we call him Benson. Here's our
Hmm.
headless male mannequin that has a little candy tray that greets people when they come in. Just something kind of fun. It was a mannequin that we got from, I think, a Bloomingdale store. They had it in their cooking department, and we thought, let's repurpose it for another need. Now, one of the most popular reasons why people buy mannequins is they want to repurpose it into some sort of an art display. And I've got one here where, like I said, it's just where we took some decoupage, some feathers, and we just made it an art piece, a life-size art piece. And art is just everybody's personal interpretation of what art is. But the fact that it's based on some sort of human form makes it feel a little, well, first of all, it's three-dimensional, but it also allows people to feel like they can relate to it a little bit. So I want to show you a couple of pictures because I get inspired by what my customers have done with mannequins. I have a Pinterest board that's just full of ideas of what people do with mannequins. And once again, when we say mannequins, we're also talking dress forms, mannequin heads, things like that. One of the most popular ones is the one you see on the screen now, which is using it for decoupage. And decoupage has been around for like thousands of years. And like I said, it's a nice project you can do with simple materials. Many times you're repurposing paper. We love the idea that it's upcycled materials on an upcycled mannequin. Let's go to the next screen. This is another example of decoupage with old patterns. We thought since usually mannequins relate to sewing, why not take old patterns? This is one of the members of my design team has created this. And then we sell them on Etsy. Next one.
Love it.
This is one of my favorites. I don't know who did this. It's got to be labor intensive. But imagine if you have like old pieces of broken jewelry, old pearls, brooches. This is a way to, once again, create a piece of art with it that can live with you. And I love the angel wings on that one. You said pretty labor intensive. I'm not saying everything has to be quick and easy, but the finished result is gorgeous. I think the next one, we're going to start going into mannequin lamps. Most people think of the Christmas tree leg lamp as the standard for mannequin lamps, but mannequin lamps have gone upscale now. There is a company in London, Jimmy Martin, and his mannequin lamps are like in, I think, $1,300, but they're life-size mannequins like this. Can we go to my screen for a second? I want to show you one of the mannequin lamps that I have in my living room. This is a leather form that came from a Louis Vuitton store. And I'm thinking, oh, wow. I love the leather on it. And why not make a lamp out of it so it's functional? You may not be able to see there's an Edison bulb up here. And then I just put a piece of jewelry here. And I just have this here in my living room. I just love the leather. And like I said, to have it be something I can look at as well as functional. Let's look at a few more lamps.
Love it. And before we go to the lamps, you talked about the leather mannequin right behind you. I'm really surprised because I didn't know that mannequins came in different materials.
Yeah, they come in so many different textures. Yes, leather, jersey. Sometimes they're made out of a muslin kind of fabric. I mean, there's a whole range of materials. None of them are really biodegradable. That's the one thing that's the common theme. But yes, the more upscale the store, the higher the quality, the material of the mannequin is going to be.
Ah, I love it. All right. Well, let's look at some more lamps.
Let's look at a few more lamps. Like I said, while we still do sell many mannequin legs for leg lamps, I just wanted to show some other examples. Let's go to another screen of how other people are interpreting lamps. This is a company called Mackenzie Childs. They're very, very high-end mannequins. I mean, I wouldn't say this particular one is for the faint of heart to try to do, but they have purchased mannequins from us and then they've repurposed them like this. This is definitely repurposed square, and I think these cost like thousands of dollars. But we like to show people for inspiration. You can do your own version of that with the materials that you have at hand. I think we have one more lamp to show. Oh, now we're getting to something else. This is using mannequins as art and also functional. I don't know if that many people have a mannequin in their bathroom, but I do know sometimes people put it there just to be able to put, say, their terry cloth robe on, to really have it be something that's almost, once again, like a silent butler. Let's look at another one. Jewelry, or this particular case is belts. And especially if you have some really beautiful belts, why have them in the drawer? Why not have them out on display for you to see, as well as easy for you just to pick and grab when you want to go take them? A lot of times people put necklaces on there because it keeps their necklaces from being tangled up in their drawer. Okay, another one. Oh, can we switch back to me real quick?
Yeah.
Now we're getting into mannequins as Christmas tree. I just wanted to show in my bedroom, I do have a mannequin in every room, but each one is a little bit different. This is a little mannequin. I put a little crown on the top here. I'm trying to make sure I get that. And I just put a lot of my pens on here. Just kind of little miscellaneous pens. Doesn't mean anything to anybody else, but I just things that make me laugh or something I want to enjoy. And so this material is sort of like a velvety type of material. And you see it's white. Once again, they come in different colors. While we're showing me, I was going to show one other kind of artistic mannequin. This is almost like an Art Deco mannequin. It's a little tall. That's why I'm having to stretch up here. This came out of a Nordstrom store, and all they simply did was have purses dangling on it. Like I said, the fascination with the human form, and these are little slats here. And what I did was I put some LED lights in there. You're not going to be able to see it during the daytime. So at nighttime, it just lights up as like a giant lamp. I'm sorry for you guys from trying to get this right here. Okay. This is in my dining room. Okay.
Oh, love it.
Okay. One of the things, and I have to admit, we've been really popularizing this as we'll go to the next screen, is using mannequins as dress form Christmas trees. It's an alternative to a regular tree. That one's in the corner, so you can't see it quite as clearly, but as you can see from the decoration on the table, it's Christmas time. Christmassy with the decoration, or look at the next couple of slides where in lieu of a tree, they actually make a pine garland skirt. Let's go to the next slide. And then they decorate it like they would a tree. A lot of African-American women call them diva trees because they make the trees have a little bit extra kind of little sass. Take off the pine garland skirt and then use the dress form for displaying your clothes or jewelry. So it makes it like an eco-friendly version of celebrating Christmas. Or what some people do is they just change the decoration. They'll still leave the pine garland skirt, but maybe they'll put flowers on it for springtime. Or during the fall season, they'll decorate it with leaves. So it becomes a seasonal display that changes throughout the year.
Oh, I love that idea.
Another example here. After that one, I think the next one we did one for, this one was beautiful. Someone did this in Ireland. I have a Facebook group called Dress Form Christmas Trees. Well, actually, we call it Dress Form Holiday Trees since people are doing them all year round. So people send me examples of all over the world of how they've taken a dress form. And see, this one's made out of wire. You talked about the different materials that they're made out of. This is more kind of a vintage kind of look, and they made a tree out of that one. And let's do one more. We didn't want our Jewish community to be left out. We did a Hanukkah tree where it's in the Hanukkah colors, and I think she may even have a Star of David around her neck. Granted, you have to have a pretty big space to have something like this, and some people do have a big foyer, or many times there are retail stores that are using it, but it's just to show that mannequins can be decorated for all kinds of purposes. I think the most popular reason people use mannequins are in the garden. So as I transition to my garden, let's go and on the slide and let's show you some examples of what people have done with the garden. That's another one. I'm sorry. That's another one of just using it as decoration. Even though they don't have hats on there, they just use the heads because they're vintage heads as decoration. A lot of people will use head forms and put their hats on display, hats or scarves. Are we okay? Let's go to the next one. Are we in garden yet? Oh, I love this. Can you believe that? A pair of mannequin legs as a planter. This is a company based out of England called Muck and Brass. And they are really famous for taking mannequin legs and mannequin butts and making planters out of them. As I said, the fascination with the human form is why people like to repurpose things in different ways. Let's keep going as I'm making my way to my garden. Mosaic is another popular material that people like to do on a mannequin leg. A little bit of work, like I said, but we try to say there's something for every skill level. If you don't have the skill to do a whole mosaic, people then just will paint it sometimes. Let's keep going. Mannequin butts. Sometimes it's just a matter of just something that's kind of whimsical and something to laugh at, not necessarily something that's high art. Let's go to another screen. Oh, did we skip ahead? I think we might have skipped one. But this is another example of a mosaic version. Okay, maybe not. Mosaic in the garden. I love that one too. I always have my little special favorites. Let's keep going. Now those
Oh.
are little X-rated or little or at least PG rated. But once again, these are ideas of what I've seen other people do. So I just provide the raw material, and people have their own creativity and inspiration that they take it from there.
Yeah,
Let's keep
I
going.
have to say that guy's a little prickly.
Yeah, he's a prick. All right. I think I've got a few more,
You
and
got
then
to
we'll
say
show
it.
you my garden. This is another one where they're just using a wire form, and you can use it as like a topiary or as a vertical garden. I've seen people use succulents they put on here, especially if someone has a small space. It's a way to get more color for your bank. I think I have two more, and then we're going to switch to my garden before I get rained out. It's raining here in California.
Oh, I'm not getting any more photos
You're not
from
okay. Then let's
here.
switch to me. So in my backyard, I've got a little couple here I call Adam and Eve out here in the garden, just kind of frolicking together. These mannequins are made out of fiberglass, so they can withstand being in the elements. Like I
Hmm.
said, it's raining right now, and they're just sitting out here, no problem whatsoever. Then I've got a little lurker back over here. He's just sitting here next to my water fountain. And then I've got a girl over here. She needs a little work. We were going to initially just cover her with ivy and let her just feel sort of like a topiary sculpture back here.
Hmm.
We painted her a bright red so she can stand out.
So, Judi, thank you so much for sharing your home and for sharing these really kind of fun ideas. I love the Christmas tree skirt. I love the idea of using kind of a mannequin to put like your robe on, that sort of thing. For other people who are like me, who are seeing some of these mannequins and then they want to get into it, they want to do something with their home. Where do you think that they should start? What advice would you give to the new people?
Well, first, I'd recommend that they would go to my Pinterest boards because I have them divided up by category and by interest. So if you're interested in mosaics, or some tattoo artists like to buy mannequins to practice different type of designs and be able to showcase that. People who are into rope art, like Shibari, they'll buy mannequins to be able to do their art with. I mean, there's all different types of art. Art is very subjective, whether you're painting, mosaic, or decoupage. There's a whole range. And so I've tried to divide it up by category so people can easily find what interests them. Many times we actually have tutorials. We teach Zoom classes for our dress form Christmas trees. We have YouTube tutorials. We also have some printed tutorials. So sometimes we might already have some tools to help you. But I think the main thing is just to have fun with it. It's easier than ever to find the raw materials, either from companies like myself or on Craigslist. You can many times find used mannequins. And it gives you a chance just to have fun. I think many times as adults, particularly now, we don't give ourselves the opportunity just to have fun. And this is something you can do at home on your own time.
Love it, love it. And so, yeah, people can go and do a lot of these really fun projects. Really, all they have to do is just kind of go to the Pinterest board, get some ideas, and just get started. It's
Yeah.
as simple as that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I recommend people buy a used mannequin so you can have some trial and error. I mean, obviously, you may not be able to make your dream mannequin lamp the first time you try it. So that's why I say don't spend a lot of money by buying a brand new mannequin, buy the used one to be able to practice with. Or, like I said, even as simple as just putting a mannequin and put it in your backyard. And sometimes people take a mannequin that has some cracks in their head and they attach flowers in there, either fake or real flowers. That's beautiful as well.
Love it. Yeah, it's so much fun just taking a mannequin and just running with it. It's so much better than it winding up in the landfill and all that fun stuff. And everyone's looking for fun projects
Yeah,
nowadays, right?
totally. And even after 20 years of being in the business, I still am amazed with something new that someone comes up with the mannequins. Now people are attaching them to drones and doing something creative with that. They're doing more digital kind of things with mannequins too. Maybe sometimes they're putting a computer monitor on the head. Like I said,
Oh,
art
cool.
is very broad ranging. So whatever you're interested in, if it involves a mannequin body part, we've got you covered.
Yeah, and if you need a human form, what better way to do it than get a mannequin, right?
Right. And I said, especially a recycled one. Not only is it good from an environmental standpoint, but you also save money. So it's a total win-win.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Well, Judi, thank you so much for taking the time out, showing us your amazing home, and giving us some really wonderful ideas about how to incorporate mannequins in our own homes. I think we're probably going to see a lot more like mannequin tree skirts and that sort of thing in the future. Yeah, love it. Thank you again. And thank you to everyone who joined us today and saw the video. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the Weird Homes Tour YouTube channel. We try to do these once every kind of week or two. Go to our website. You'll find over 150 homes that we've featured, just like Judi's. And if you want to get into the mannequin game and get some fun projects, go to her Pinterest board, pinterest.com/mannequin madness, or go to mannequinmadness.com and you can buy your own used mannequins and get fun with those projects. So Judi, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you. And everyone have a great day. Okay. Bye, everyone.